and welcome to the fourth episode of Career Conversations with Felecia H. And you will notice I'm here alone. I'm by myself. I am recording this video on Super Bowl Sunday. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. And so I just thought, Felecia, leave your friends alone. Let them be and be your own special guest. So, welcome to Career Conversations with Felecia H. Eaton with special guest, Felecia H. Eaton. How are you? How was your week? Are you ready for next week? Of course you are. Well, maybe if you don't stay up too late tonight watching the game. I don't know. But anyway, welcome. So if this is your first time catching this podcast, my name is Felecia H. Eaton, and I wear many hats. So I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an employee. Like, there are a lot of things that I do. And for the past 3 weeks, I have invited special guests onto my podcast, and we've just had conversations about their career. And they have been some powerful conversations, like powerful. So if you haven't had an opportunity to take a peek at them, stop this video right now and go look at those videos. Just everyday women doing powerful things in our community. Okay. So, and on each podcast, I have 7 questions, the same 7 questions. But the great thing about it is I have the same seven questions, but I have gotten 3 different stories. So that is what's so cool. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a story. So I thought today would be pretty cool if I interview myself. Now, some of you may say, "Oh, Felecia, we feel sorry for you." No, don't feel sorry for me. Do not feel sorry for me, because hopefully throughout this conversation with you and with me interviewing myself, you'll be able to pull a few nuggets out that you can apply to your own life. Okay? So I am titling this podcast, Encourage Yourself. And I am titling the podcast that because the message that I heard this morning was crazy fire. Like, it was crazy. And I thought to myself, that's what I want to encourage my listeners, my viewers, anyone who happens to see this podcast, to anyone who happens to see this video or hear this message while they are driving in their cars or cooking dinner or whatever it is that you do when you're listening to podcasts or videos or anything like that. So that message touched me in such a major way this morning. And so I want to take that same message and I want to encourage you to encourage yourself. Now, let's dig into why it is so important to encourage yourself. And for me, over the years, I've done things, I have taken risks that other people around me may not have thought was a good idea. I thought it was a good idea, but the other people around me may not have thought it was a good idea. Other people around me may not have understood why I was doing what I was doing and why I was moving the way that I was moving. But I knew it was the right thing to do. I knew it was the right direction to take. And so along the way, I may not have had as many supporters as I thought I should have had, or I may not have had as many supporters as I had imagined having. So there were so many times where I could not depend on other people to say, "Felecia, keep going. Felecia, you got this." So guess what? I had to do that and say those things to myself. "Felecia, you got this. Felecia, keep going. Felecia, it's going to be okay." And so I am here today saying the exact same thing to you. And it's so simple. Encourage yourself. Say those positive things to yourself and keep moving. Don't wait for others. Just keep moving. Okay? So I was encouraged this morning, and I am going to encourage you to encourage yourself and not wait for other people. Got it? So let's get into some of these questions. Again, the exact same questions that I have had for my guests that have appeared on my show, I am going to ask ask the same questions and answer those questions for you today. All right. So listen, question number 1. Tell me about your story. Where you're from, where you live now, schools, all that kind of good stuff. And what are you dreaming about? Great question, Felecia. So listen, I am from Memphis, Tennessee, for those of you who don't know. And I was born and raised here. I earned both my bachelor's and master's from the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. And I earned those degrees in social work. So I've always had a pull at my heart for helping people. And it's so interesting that that's where I started and that's where I am now, right? Although I'm in another industry, we'll talk about that, but the core of who I am is helping people. The core of who I am is helping other people to reach their full potential, okay? So what dreams do I have for myself? Let's see. So to create generational wealth for my family. So when I talk about generational wealth, I'm talking about for my children and my children's children and my children's children's children. I'm all about creating a legacy right now. Like creating those things where my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren can say, oh, my grandmother was responsible for that. Or my children can say, oh, my mom, she started that. Or she was a part of that, right? So that's where my mindset is. And I'm also at that point where the rest of my life that I'm here on earth, I really want the rest of my life to be the best part of my life. Like, it's just that simple. So that's what I dream about. For those of you who don't know, I am a career coach. I'm a business coach. I'm a motivational speaker. I am a podcast host, if that's what you want to call me. But I also created an online course, career progression course, helping other people to progress their careers. Because back in 2017, I was laid off from a fantastic job. I ended up taking about a 70% pay cut. And I was in that particular job and realized that I wanted more, I needed more, and I deserved more. Okay. So I did all the things, and all the things include networking, preparing for interviews, interviewing, figuring out what my success stories were, figuring out where my mistakes happened, how did I overcome those mistakes. So I started doing all the things from 2018 to 2020, and I was able to, I've said triple my salary. It really has been quadrupled my salary within 3 years. And so that's where I am right now. And when I was doing those things, I needed to change my life. I needed to do something different for my family, for my children. And so I started doing all the things. I took all the things. I keep saying all the things because there's so much that I did. But I took all the things and I put them in one place. And I created a course because I kept saying to myself, okay, Felecia, this is happening. You're doing what you said you wanted to do. So you need to write it down. You need to keep track of what you're doing, how long it took you to do it, who you talked to in order to get it done. And I did. So I took all those things, put it into one place, put it into one course so that I can help other women do the same. And so my goal and my mission is to help over 5,000 women throughout the United States and outside of the United States who are looking to do the same in their lives, who are looking to do the same on the job. Now, I am a true believer. I love entrepreneurship. I love the freedom that that you get from being an entrepreneur. And I'm not even an entrepreneur 100% of the time. However, there is a freedom that I know is right around the corner. But I am not crazy enough to believe that everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Everybody can be an entrepreneur because that's not the goal of everyone. Some people, you have jobs and you're just trying to figure out, how do I make more money on the job that I already have? Because we're talking about insurance that comes along with that job. We're talking about benefits that come along with the job that you already have. So I am not oblivious to think that everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Some people just need to understand, okay, what are some things I can do at work to earn more money, to get a different position, to be promoted at work? What are those things? So I took all the things that I did, I put it in one place, I put it in one course, and my mission is to reach 5,000 women, to change 5,000 lives, because those 5,000 lives, I feel like, represents 5,000 families. Now, Felecia, where did you get 5,000? I don't know. But I didn't want to shortchange myself and say, I just want to help 100 people. No, because I feel like what I have to offer is so life-changing. Like, you got to take that number up a little bit. So I thought about 500. It still was too small for me, because I feel like what I have and the gifts that I have and the talents that I have and the transparency that I'm willing to put out to the world, I feel like that's something that God gave me. So I don't want to shortchange myself, and I don't want to shortchange the women in the world who needs this course and who will see this course and say to themselves, that's exactly what I need. Right? So 5,000 is my number, and I need you to help me reach those 5,000. I don't know 5,000 people. I do not. Whether those are individuals, whether they are at a corporation, whether they are at a school, whether they are in an organization within the community, I don't know 5,000 people, so I need your help. And the way you can help me is just share this video. That's it. Share this video, because that's my mission. I launched this course January 1st of 2022, and I just kind of put it out there. And one day I said to myself, well, Felecia, they don't know why you put it out there. It's not necessarily to make a ton of money. No, it's because my life needed changing so desperately. Oh my goodness, I cannot tell you. That's another conversation, but my life needed to change. And I just knew I can't be the only one. There have to be other women who needs exactly what I'm talking about. So that's who I am. That's my life. Those are my dreams. So first and foremost, it is to help my family. But next on the list is to help 5,000 women around the world change their lives and change the lives of their families. All right, so that's who I am. Got it? Question number 2. Let's move on. So let's talk about your career story. So you want to know about my career story. I'm going to tell you about that. What industry are you in? How long have you been in the industry? How easy or how challenging has it been to progress my career? So I've already told you I earned both my bachelor's and master's degree in social work from the University of Tennessee. Coming right out of college, I was a social worker, and I started out as a school social worker, which I love. Let me back up. No, I did not. I started out in mental health. Okay, so I worked at a mental health hospital. I worked with people who were bipolar, people who were suffering from depression, and it was an interesting job, and it always tugged at my heart, which is why I majored in social work in the first place. So, but I didn't stay in that industry long. I was probably there about 9 months before the opportunity at the time of a lifetime presented itself to me. And I was able to go into the school system here, and I became a school social worker working with teenage mothers and helping them navigate life and their education all at the same time. I left there and I went to work for a HBCU here in Memphis, Lemoyne Owen College, and I ran an after-school program for young boys 9 through 11 years old, and it was amazing, right? And then after 2 years, the opportunity. Again, I'm always thinking that opportunities are an opportunity of a lifetime. Like I guess that's how I look at all opportunities. I don't know. But the opportunity of a lifetime came along again to move into the pharmaceutical industry. I had no idea about the pharmaceutical industry and what it entailed, but I did know that I was a people person. I knew that I was pretty good at persuading people. So I took a chance, right? And I got into the industry. I did that for 10 years, and loved it. But we're talking about the medical field, and sometimes the medical field can be a little roller coaster-ish, if that's a word. And so I was laid off from my job, from that pharmaceutical job in 2017. And I took a job with another company here where I live in 2018, and that's where the pay cut came from. Okay. And within that job, I realized that I needed more, wanted more, and deserved more. Needed, wanted, deserved. Okay. And so that's when I started doing all the things. But that's just kind of where I am right now. I am back in the pharmaceutical industry. I just actually hit my 1-year anniversary being back in the industry after being gone for four years, I guess. And I love it. I absolutely love what I do. I love meeting new people. I love having a different set of people that I talk to every day. So that's been really cool. I work with some great people. I have a wonderful manager, and so I'm learning to just kind of balance everything, and I'm doing a great job, I think. So that's where I am right now. Okay. So that's my history. That is what industry I'm in, and let me say this. The core of me has always known since I was a young kid, since I was a young girl, a teenager, probably even before I became a teenager, probably around 10 or 11. I've always known that my passion was helping people. I've always known that that was my purpose, for helping people. In whatever avenue that was in, whatever that looked like, that's always been a part of who I am. Okay? So, hence this course that I've created to help 5,000 women around the world. Got it? All right, next question. Question number 3. When you began your first real job, do you feel like you were prepared for the workforce? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But coming into the social work workforce, it wasn't a tough situation. My first job, I worked for a behavioral health center, and I saw patients again who were dealing with mental health issues, dealing with depression, just, needing to hit reset in their lives. But I also work with young children. So it really wasn't hard for me coming into the workforce, but that is where I learned how to work with other people, because that was really my first job coming out of college. I'd had an internship, but for the most part, showing up every day, going to meetings, being present in those meetings, communicating and collaborating with other coworkers. That was really the first time that I was doing things like that. So that is where I kind of sharpened my teeth coming into the workforce on how to behave, how to move, how to dress within a corporation, within a company, within an office. So no, I wasn't prepared, but within the 9 months that I was in that mental health field, I quickly learned and adapted to what needed to be done and how I needed to move to progress. So the other part of that question was, I just told you why. So wasn't prepared. But that is where I sharpened my teeth and learned just, how to move within an office atmosphere. Okay. All right. Next question. This is great. I love interviewing myself. All right. So question number 4, what personal characteristics do you feel either stagnated you or propelled your professional career? Wow. So I would say stagnated. Let's deal with stagnated first. So once I came into the school system and I was working with teen moms, for a while, I thought, this is all I can do. I'm really good at this. I'm really good at, having these conversations with young women. I'm really good at helping them to figure out their next move. I'm really good at guiding them through their lives, right? I thought I was great at that, and I thought that's all I can do. So my mindset was very limited. It was almost like I was putting myself in a box. Like, this is all I can do, right? Until the opportunity came around for me to go into a director's role at Lamorne College. And I was like, me in management, I can do this. People working for me, helping to guide other professional lives. I can do this. Well, I did it, and I was really good at it. In fact, some of the same people that I hired to work for me during that time, I'm still really good friends with. And we always talk about, there's one young lady, I don't know if she'll see this or not, but there's one young lady, she had just graduated from college, but her spirit was so amazing, so infectious. And I was like, she is the one. She's the one. And we are still friends to this day. And just to see what type of impact she's had on the city of Memphis and the people that she has connected with and networked with and built her own team. It is just an amazing thing to see. So shout out to that person. You know who you are. So anyway, that was what stagnated me. It was my mindset, thinking that I was only this way. This is the only the only direction that I could go in. This is the only person that I can be. And I was so wrong. Okay. So let's talk about what propelled me. What propelled me was my resiliency. Yep. It was my resiliency. And if you don't know what resilient means getting knocked down, but not letting that thing that knocked you down keep you down. Resilient means getting knocked down, but then getting back up, dusting your shoulders off, and figuring out, okay, I'm not out the game. I still have stuff to do. What do I need to do? How do I need to do it? Who do I need to speak with about getting it done? It's about your mindset, having a resilient mindset, but also having a resilient spirit. It's about not allowing those things to get in your way and to stop you, right? That's what it's about. So being resilient is absolutely that one characteristic that has pushed me forward, that has propelled me and my career forward, because I haven't allowed things to knock me down to a point where I was afraid to get back up, right? And I was never afraid to not take a risk, right? So I would have to say resiliency. So if you don't know what resiliency is, go look it up, because my definition is probably very limiting, but go look it up and then decide whether or not that's a characteristic that you have as well. Okay. All right. Next question. Question number 5. Come on, Felecia. You're doing a great job. What have you done to advance your professional development? So, I love right now in my life, I love a good podcast. You can learn so much from podcasts. I listen to a lot of motivational speakers. I listen to a lot of industry speakers. And so right now, that's what I'm doing. Okay. But in the past, I took advantage of trainings that were being offered by the companies that I work for. And a lot of times, we'll have those mandatory trainings that you have to do. I don't know if, during these COVID times that you have to watch different videos on, your department or your company. And so I've always watched the mandatory, but I've always been that type of person to take it a step further. And let me look around and see what else is out there that they're not telling me is mandatory. Let me see what I can find on my own that will make me better, that will strengthen my work ethic, that will strengthen my communication at work, that will strengthen my ability to network. So let me see What is available to me? What resource is available to me at work that I can take advantage of myself? And so I'm going to encourage you. There are going to be things on your job that are mandatory. You have to do them. Don't fuss about it. Just do them. Don't question people about why we have to do this. No, if they're saying it's mandatory, just do it. But take advantage of the opportunity to look around your website, look around the back end of your company's website to see what else there is out there that can make you better. Okay? That can give you a leg up on your competition. That's always important. Okay? So that's that question. That's what I've done. All right? Question number 6. What advice would you give someone just entering the workforce and then someone who feels stuck? So for someone who's just entering the workforce, my advice each and every time, you can ask me today, tomorrow, you can ask me this same question today, tomorrow, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I will always have the exact same answer. For someone who is just entering the workforce, seek out mentorship. Seek out someone who has been with that company much longer than you have, and preferably someone who's on a different level than the level where you're entering. And then another part of that is seek out someone who still loves the company. So I don't know how hard that is, but someone who has been there longer than you, someone who is on a different level than you, and then someone who still loves what they do. And they still love the company that they work for. That's key, okay? Because that way, some of the mistakes that you may make, if you have a mentor and they may be able to say to you, oh yeah, I used to do that, so don't do that. Yeah, I used to do that and that wasn't, that always ended up in a certain situation, so don't do what I did. So finding a good mentor is key. Right? Find someone who's on a different level than you. And that's important because that person is showing you that, I came in just like you, but I saw opportunities and I took advantage of those opportunities. And you want to connect yourself with someone who will seek out an opportunity and take advantage of the opportunity. And they're not afraid to take advantage of opportunities. Okay. And then the last thing is you want to seek out someone who still loves what they do. Whatever you do, do not attach yourself to someone who has a negative taste in their mouth about what they do, what they've done, and the company that you work for. All right? Because who you hang around is who you will become. Who you hang around is who you will become. So if you're hanging around someone with a negative attitude, guess what? Your attitude will at some point become negative. And if they have a negative reputation at work and that's who you choose to hang around and associate yourself with, then their negative reputation will become your negative reputation. And you will get this negative reputation, even if you're not a negative person, but you'll get it just by association. So make sure that person has a positive mindset. And having a positive mindset at work also can determine your perspective on things. There could be a memo that comes out and the company is giving some new directives. Now, someone with a negative attitude, they may gripe about that. I can't believe they're changing this. How in the world can they? But someone with a positive attitude may look at that totally different and say, you know what, that is something we should have done a long time ago. So that's going to be pretty cool. I can't wait to see how that's going to turn out. You see the difference? Got it? All right. So last question. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's the last question. No. Did I give out? Let me go back. So the second part of that question is, what advice would you give someone who feels stuck? Man. So if you feel stuck in your job, I want you to take a piece of paper and I want you to write down all the things, all the reasons why you feel stuck. And then in the middle column, I want you to write down, do you even want to get unstuck? Because some people are okay with where they are. They know they're stuck. They know that they've been in one position, in one role for 10 years, but they are not willing to do anything about it. So I want you to write down all the reasons why you feel stuck. Then I want you to write down in the middle column, do you even want to get unstuck? And I don't know if that's a word. That's probably not, I don't know. That's just how I talk. So charge my head and not my heart. But do you even want to get unstuck? Okay. Then in the next column, if your answer is yes, in the next column, I want you to say, why do you want to get unstuck? Let's look at what's going on in your life that needs to change, whether that is time spent with your family, whether that's more money that you need, whether that's more recognition that you want to receive, whether that is to feel more rewarding about your job, whatever it is. I want you to look at your personal life and look at and write those things down, that your why. Why do you want to get unstuck? Why now? Whether it's 5 years later or 10 years later or 15 years later, why do you want to get unstuck? What is calling on your life? What is pulling on your life that is making you say to yourself, I want to get unstuck? Okay. And then in the last column, I want you to write down who can help you get unstuck. That's not the last column because I have something else. But who can help you get unstuck? Is it your manager? Is it one of your coworkers? Is it a mentor? Is it a mentor outside of your job? Is it a friend? Who has the access? Who has the ability to help you make some different decisions and move a different way at work? Okay, so you got that. And then lastly, I want you to take those people who can help you, and I want you to schedule meetings with them and let them know I feel stuck and I want to get unstuck, because you have to have someone who's going to hold you accountable. Let them know what you want to do, how soon you want to do it, and ask them, how can you help me? Ask them, will you help me? Will you hold me accountable for doing those things that I said I want to do? You got it? And then you just follow through. You follow through. You got it? It may seem simple. It's not simple. It first starts in your mind, right? That's the first place where it starts. But you can do this, right? And every day you have to encourage yourself to say, Felecia, you got this. Felecia, you can do this. Felecia, yeah, this may seem a little out of your comfort zone, but it's okay. You can do this. You can adjust and you can do this. You got it? All right. So last question. I know they got a little heavy. Sorry. Last question. What advice would you give to someone who is afraid to change their lives? Man, that is crazy. My advice to someone who knows deep down in their gut that a change needs to happen, my advice to you is to make the decision to change. Just make the decision to change. And I'm telling you, once you make that decision, then you'll start to see different things happen in your life, because now you have an expectation of where you want your life to go. So it starts in your mind. Make the decision that you want to change some things. Make another list. I'm all about lists. Make that list of what you want to change in your life. And then start doing your research and figuring out, how do I change those things? For me, when I took that pay cut, I was making so little money and I didn't have a savings account because I just made mistakes in my life with my money. And I didn't have a savings account, but I wanted a savings account. And so one small thing that I did, I started taking $25 out of each check, and I had it going into a savings account every pay period, every check. And I got paid every week. $25 out of every paycheck was going directly into a savings account, and I wasn't touching it until it got to a point where I was like, oh, I have $250. Now, that may not seem like a lot to you, but it was a lot to me for someone who had taken this big pay cut. I still had 3 children to take care of. And so that $250 grew to $500. That $500 grew to $1,000. That $1,000 grew to $1,500, and so on and so on. So figure out what are those things that you need. And I'm saying need, not want, need. And be honest with yourself that you need to change in your life, and start making small steps to accomplish those goals, to change those things, whatever the things are. Okay. And that's it. That's my advice. Change your mind first. It all starts in your mind, right? It all starts in your mind. Okay. So listen, I am going to get out of here. I thank you so much for watching, for listening. I hope that I've said something that will have an impact on your life. I hope that I've said something that will make you say, Felecia, you're right. I need to start encouraging myself. I need to stop waiting on people to tell me good job, or you will be great at this. I need to start saying good job to myself. I need to start telling myself you will be great at this. So I hope that I've said something that has encouraged you to encourage yourself. My name is Felecia Eaton, and I am the host of Career Conversations with Felecia H. Eaton. And my special guest today has been myself. Listen, whatever you do, get up, get moving, and do something to change your life. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.